When all this had ended, the Israelites who were there went out to the towns of Judah, smashed the sacred stones, and cut down their Asherah poles. They destroyed the high places and the altars throughout Judah and Benjamin and Ephraim and Manasseh. After they had destroyed all of them, the Israelites returned to their own towns and to their own property. So what was going on is this is once again a time where Israel slash Judah was, getting rid of stuff that they shouldn't have already had, but they kept. It was like a repeat cycle. Unfortunately, they were worshiping the Lord, then they slowly stopped worshiping the Lord and worshipped other things such as the Baals and the Asherahs and such. And so then they had to go do a cleansing of all, getting rid of all of the other false gods, and and so that's what's happening again. And that's why I was saying the Chronicles is a repeat, kind of a summary slash additional details as to what we read, and several of the books prior to, including First, Second Samuel, First, Second Kings. So, let's continue to read. Contributions for worship. Hezekiah assigned the priests and Levites to divisions, each of them according to their duties as priests of Levites, to offer burnt offerings and fellowship offerings, to minister, to give thanks, and to sing praises at the gates of the Lord's dwelling. The king contributed from his own possessions for the morning and evening burnt offerings and for the burnt offerings on the Sabbaths, new moons, and appointed feasts, as written in the law of the Lord. He ordered the people living in Jerusalem to give the portion due the priests and Levites so they could devote themselves to the law of the Lord. As soon as the order went out, the Israelites generously gave the first fruits of their grain, new wine, oil, and honey, and all that the fields produced. They brought a great amount, a tithe of everything. The men of Israel and Judah who lived in the towns of Judah also brought a tithe of their herds and flocks and a tithe of the holy things dedicated to the Lord their God, and they piled them in heaps. They began doing this in the 3rd month and finished in the 7th month. When Hezekiah and his officials came and saw the heaps, they praised the Lord and blessed his people. So that's something to look at right there. When we are blessed, it is okay and it is a good time to bless others, right? You can be a blessing. Whatever that may be, whether it's economy, whether it's dwelling, whether it's different aspects in life. When we have abundance, it's good and it's positive to allow that abundance to go to others, to flow to others, and give generously, because the Lord just provides more and more and more. Do we see that today? Bringing past to present. Even today, there are times where people give generously. Typically, it's after a major devastation. But devastations happen daily. Devastations happen to not just a whole bunch of people's lives. It could happen to 1 or 2 people's lives. It could happen. Things like this can happen. And we can definitely assist those. But does it happen? Does that help happen all the time? Unfortunately, we see a lot of greed today. Unfortunately, we see a lot of things where there's not sharing or giving because there's filling of livelihood. There's people who believe that other people want what they have. And so they don't want to share. They don't feel like sharing. They don't feel obligated to. They feel okay not to. And so we all have decisions to make. We all have decisions in life, and we're free to do those, definitely. Not one of us is directed with something with not having a choice to do things. However, having a closer walk with the Lord and having a relationship with the Lord helps prevent that. Helps prevent that greed overwhelming, the fear, the ignorance, the not knowing. It helps bring compassion. It softens the heart. That's one thing that I heard today about having a soft heart, having a heart of flesh. And that's something that we can think about when it comes to this. These people were giving freely because they had went through times where it wasn't good. It was bad. It was times where there had been, at this point, there had been defeats. There had been people taken away. There had been a lot of things that had been going on. And so the people were mostly realizing that them continuing on worshiping the false gods and continuing on what they were doing wrong, which was wrong, wasn't working. So they now have cleaned house and they're worshiping the Lord fully. And with that, they're also giving freely. They have a heart to give, and the Lord sees that. So with that being said, what kind of thoughts or feelings come to your mind? How does it make you feel, and what does it make you think?